What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Poetically Christian, and welcome to another edition of Should Christians Play? The series where we go between the ratings of the ESRB to answer the questions, should a Christian play, and is this game accessible for me? Hi guys, my name is Derek. I'm a legally blind gamer and preacher. And today we're going to be reviewing Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, which is available on your Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC, guys. Made back in the year 2018. Before we get to today's review, if you like Christian reviews, if you like to know what is in the games as far as physical accessibility, whether you can play the game as a low vision, blind, motor disabled, deaf, and hard of hearing, and of course you're a Christian, you want to know what moral content is in the game, want to know if it's morally accessible for you to play, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button on Poetically Christian, along with that little bell icon, and that'll alert you the next time one of these reviews come out, along with all that we do, Let's Plays. I do all kinds of retro games, modern games, Bible sermons, the Disciples Above Disability series, and so much more, guys. And if you're watching over on Poetically Christian Gamer Twitch, you can hit that follow button. It's free, and that'll alert you when I'm live, and you can join me, guys, in the chat and be part of the show. All right, you know how we do. We review these games on two fronts. First of all, is the game physically accessible for that low vision and blind, motor disabled, or the deaf and hard of hearing? And then, of course, we look at the game morally. As a Christian, is the game morally accessible for a Christian to play? So let's get things going here. Classic, the Street Fighter series, guys. Yes, this game got an ESRB rating of T14, of course, for violence, mild blood, and things like that. But what the ESRB rating doesn't tell you, we're going to get to. First, we're going to start, though, with the physical accessibility. Is this game physically accessible? And we're going to start with the low vision blind because that's the spectrum I come at things from. So, as you can see, if you're low vision or sighted, this game has nice sized menus. It does not have menu narration if you are completely blind or need that as a low vision user. But what it does have is it has nice big menus, and what you're highlighted on is dark. You've got white backgrounds with black writing, and what you're highlighted on is dark. So it's pretty easy contrast to see what you're on. The menus are very limited on this game. There's not a lot of options, so menu memorization is possible for a blind user as well, with maybe a little bit of sighted assistance or just kind of playing around with things. Yes, there's no menu narration, which there should have been from a 2018 game, but it was still kind of in the early days of accessibility being taken seriously in video games, so it is not present. But we do have those large menus with nice text and nice contrast. As far as when you're in the game, you know, the sound effects help you a lot as a low vision or blind user. A fighting game lends itself, as you guys know, to being an easier game to play. You're on one set plane, just two people on the screen. You don't have to worry about a lot of extra things. So fighting games lend themselves well to somebody blind or low vision. So you got that going on. The sound effects are nice and punched up so you can hear what your opponent's throwing at you when they're jumping, things like that. You can kind of hear where they are and know how to react to certain things. Holding back for block is a pretty simple thing. There's no, extreme complex things to block certain attacks or anything like that. A block pretty much blocks everything. So that makes it easy as well. So for the low vision and blind, it's not too bad. It's a classic game collection, of course. This game features multiple Street Fighter games. It has the original Street Fighter, and then all the versions of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Super Street Fighter 2, the New Challengers, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3, and of course all the versions of Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Double Impact, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. So a nice package, nice collection of all the arcade. These are arcade ports of the Street Fighter collection. So goes basically 1 through 3, all the versions of them, the arcade ports, pretty sweet. Not all of these are online, only part of them are, but what is here is nice if you'd like to play online with somebody, but you can do it offline as well on all of these games. Yeah, for the low vision and blind, this is a nice package. I wish there would have been that menu narration. That would have been so easy to do because there's not a whole lot of menus to go through, so it would have been a simple inclusion, but it's not here. But as I said, we have those large menus, nice text, nice contrast. The sound makes the game playable. The easy of controls, make the game playable for someone low vision blind. So not too bad. I would have to give the game maybe a C+ for accessibility if you're low vision blind. Now for the deaf and hard of hearing, there is subtitles on this game. And of course, when you do certain things on the game as well, it's all written out, texted out, between the fights. So after the fight's over, the little banner that the fighters have amongst each other, those are all text out. Those are all captioned out so you can read them between the fights. The endings are all captioned out so you know what's going on in the endings, and there is the ability to turn subtitles on during the fight. So very nice. For an old game, they've kind of brought it up. Of course, it doesn't have some of the modern amenities like speaker name or anything like that, but they have brought it up to at least subtitle in-game, and of course the storyline between fights and the ending. So very playable for someone deaf and hard of hearing. I'd have to give the game a B for accessibility. And as far as the motor disabled goes, very, very nice. You have complete button remapping for these games on your controller, and you can make it, Lord willing, something that you would be able to play and come up with a scheme that would be suitable to you. So overall, I have no complaints on that. I'd have to give the game an A for motor disabled. Now, what about the moral, accessibility? How morally accessible is this game for Christians to play? Well, there's multiple games, so we're going to kind of have to do a broad, sweeping overview of this collection as a package. As far as the moral accessibility goes, as I said, this game got a T for teen rating for mild blood, and violence. This game does not have any blasphemy as far as I have seen in the game. It does have some sexual content, and as one of my subscribers has pointed out to me that I have been neglecting, and I'm sorry for any of my female viewers, I am sorry that I have neglected in the sexual content your point of view. That's on me. My YouTube analytics show that the majority of my audience, almost entirely, is male. And of course, myself being a male, I come at things from that perspective, and I am sorry that I neglected to mention that. But I will be appropriating that into my reviews from this point moving forward. For the sexual content, you do have some risquely dressed ladies. Not as bad as some other fighting series, as you normally would have. Someone like Chun-Li is mostly dressed pretty well. Cammy is wearing a bodysuit, kind of like a one-piece bathing suit kind of thing. And then some of the other female fighters are mostly attired well. Not too much there, but I will leave that to your own discernment. But much better than some of the other fighting game series that you will see. And for the male dress, coming from the female perspective, there are multiple shirtless men in multiple games on this collection. So if that is a temptation for you, something that would make you be divided from God or lust, then it is there. I'm just letting you know that content is in the game. The game does have a cartoony aesthetic, so it's, you don't take it too seriously. It's not very lifelike or realistic. It's very cartoony and animated in their approach, and Lord willing, I'm going to show you some of the gameplay here in just a minute so you can get a feel for what the game looks like, sounds like, plays like, feels like, to know if it's something you would enjoy. Yeah, so there is some sexual content, but it's not as bad as some other fighting games that I've seen. Nothing more than you would see on a UFC or a boxing match, the attire that someone would wear to fight in the real world. So if that's something that would draw you away, that's on you to be able to discern yourself on that. As far as violence, it is a fighting game, so there's an inherent violence of fighting back and forth, martial arts. And there is no blood in the game, but between the fights, as they have their little banner back and forth, it does show pictures of the fighters, and sometimes they are battered, bruised, and bloodied a little bit in their pictures as they talk, but there's none in game. So that's where the mild blood comes into play. There's no language in this game really to speak of, mild things there. So yeah, overall for the Christian moral accessibility, I would have to give the game probably a B minus, just because of the sexual content that may be there for the folks playing this game. So that would be what drags it down the most, and a little bit of that blood between the fights on their pictures if you don't like that kind of thing, violence in the game. But overall, pretty safe game for Christians to play. Not a whole lot here, especially when compared to most other fighting game franchises. So not bad. I would give the game probably a B minus for accessibility, for moral accessibility. So what's the game feel like? Well, I'm going to load up my favorite of this collection and my favorite Street Fighter game of all time, and that's Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers, guys. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I loaded up the wrong one. Whoops. I got to get out of here. All right. There we go. Loaded up the Champion Edition. But yeah, this is my absolute favorite Street Fighter game of all time, guys. Super Street Fighter 2. I don't like the fast gameplay. I was never a turbo fan. So I always preferred the original version of Super Street Fighter 2. The New Challenges. I think it's the best version of the game by far. So we'll give it a little go here, and we'll see what the game's like for you guys. I'm going to play as my favorite character, Ryu. And here we go. Is there any more of a classic fighting game, guys, than Street Fighter 2? I grew up as a Street Fighter kid. I had the Special Champion Edition for my Sega Genesis, complete with the muddled sound effects and all, and the announcer that sounded like Alan Rickman. And that crunchy sound. You're lures. I'm sorry, my friend. You're lures. There's a perfect. If this was alpha, we'd be saying perfect. Gotta have the AW in there. Perfect. Oh. Hadoukens it all. Yeah, you can hear it pretty well. Classic game, guys. Got him. That's pretty cool, guys. As you can see right here, I wanted to show you in between. They get kind of a little battered and bruised. They have their little commentary. And that's where, you know, kind of the blood and things like that come into play. That's the only thing in the game. And we have T-Hawk, one of the new characters that was added to Super Street Fighter 2, along with Fei Long, DJ, and Cammy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh man, what a shot. What a shot. Oh, that's crazy. Oh. Got him. Kind of faded with that punch a little bit. Get him to come in. Oh, double hit. Oh, I got him on the back end. Oh. Got him. Oh, he got me in the back. No. Oh, on the back end, guys. Got him. That was pretty. All right, guys. Just kind of wanted to give you a feel for what the game looked like. It's a classic collection. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I enjoy it. I think the game's pretty awesome. Another one of our classic stages. All right. So overall, guys, I hope this has helped you on another edition of Should Christians Play. If it has, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give me that thumbs up on the video if you've enjoyed this. It helps with the algorithm. And I've seen that a majority of my viewers are not subscribed, guys. It's absolutely free to subscribe, and it just helps you to find my videos easier, and it helps me to get my ministry out there. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe to the channel and give me that thumbs up, as long as hitting that bell icon, guys, and that'll alert you and put it into your watch videos for your home, guys. I truly appreciate it. I do this kind of thing every Thursday. We do these as much as I can. The Should Christians Play series, along with on Fridays we do our Let's Plays. Wednesdays is our Bible sermons, and occasionally on Saturdays I get with an autistic friend of mine and we do the Disciples Above Disability, the series where we kind of look at how we see God in all things from pop culture, movies, video games, and so much more, guys. And if you're watching on Twitch, as always, hit that follow button. It's free, and you can join me when I'm live. Today, we reviewed Super Street Fighter 2, along with all these games of this collection in the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Overall, for the blind and low vision, I would have to give the game a C+ for physical accessibility. You got the large menus, you got the contrast, you got the nice text, and you've got the punched up sound effects, which make it kind of easier to play this game, and a fighting game lends itself well. If you're motor disabled, you got the complete button remapping in this game to your heart's content, A. And if you are deaf and hard of hearing, we have the subtitles in game, and we have the subtitles between fights and the ending. So overall, no complaints really much there. Just don't have the modern speaker names, things like that. B for the deaf and hard of hearing accessibility. And for the Christian moral accessibility, we've got limited sexual content, as some of the characters got a little bit of skin showing, but not a lot. Some of the male characters are shirtless, but no more than what you would see in a boxing match or UFC. It is there. Blood is very limited just between those pictures between the fights. And as far as I can tell, there's no blasphemy in this game, and mild language, nothing over the top there. So overall, I would have to give the game a B for moral Christian accessibility, and I would say this is one of the safer ones to play, with that cartoony aspect not being too realistic or being able to be taken too seriously. So overall, guys, I hope that's helped you. This has been another edition of Should Christians Play, the series where we go between the ratings of the ESRB to answer the questions: should a Christian play, and is this game accessible for me? I love you, God loves you, and until the next one, guys, blessed wishes.